Peace to the galaxy. It's your boy Supreme, back with another vlog, and today is a good ass day. Today I'm here at Inland Scales in Cumming, Georgia with my guy Jay. We about to see some reptiles today.
Man? How y'all doing today?
We got some cool reptiles in here at this shop today. You ready to check it out?
Let's show them around, man.
Let's get it. All right, so we're gonna start with the biggest reptile we got in here. What we got?
We have our shop resident Nubs, who is a black throat monitor, who is puppy dog tame.
You let me touch him?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, he feels like some turf or something like that.
Right. They have a very rough snout. They use it for battering termite mounds. Very big, bulky lizards when they're full grown. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna feed Nubs one of these quails that we got right here. And you can see the entire shift change when it's time to eat. Now, I try to help her. Sometimes she'll let me, sometimes she'll go in there and do it on her own, but if she can get it started. So normally they're about 5.5 feet at the full grown size of 75 to 85 pounds. So we're gonna be looking at a big lizard when it's all said and done. But she came into us basically 12 inches.
Okay. She looks hungry.
Yeah, she's gonna give that a go. So we're probably gonna leave her alone for a second, but once she finds which side she wants to go in on, she is an amazing animal, a great representation of the species and their docile manner.
Would you say a monitor is one of your favorite reptiles?
Yes, and I had an infatuation with monitors before opening the shop, but once we opened it, I got to work with species kind of vicariously through the shop because we were stocking things to sell to other customers, and it just piqued my interest and love for the species in general completely. Now, see, she's got the head down. She found the right side. But we have a black dragon that we'll get to a little later, and I'll tell you what, like, that lizard hated me for 8+ months. I fought with her for a very long time. She did not like me, and then finally she just kind of opened up her heart and let me pet her, and we've been going downhill ever since. There it is.
There it is.
Very dominant animals.
Just ate him in 3 bites.
It was all just getting it started. Now, even with the snake, it's funny because you'll watch them go back and forth and try to figure out what side to go from. I've had snakes eat backwards all the time. There it is, it's gone.
And it's gone.
The thing about the birds is they're oblong. They have the wings. They have the, their thighs stick out. Makes it a little harder for her to get down, but that didn't dent her. She could eat 2 or 3 more of them.
Just like that.
Just like that. So we'll let her digest that for a little bit. We'll move on. But we have a couple big reptiles in the shop. Our biggest snake is a 14-foot tiger reticulated python that was surrendered to us, and she's right over here. We've had her since she was about 10 feet. She was found in Habersham County. I'm suggesting an escape.
Okay.
Those animals are very strong and sometimes underestimated. She's docile once she's out the cage. Very, very docile, easy to work with. She is kind of cage aggressive. Just a food response. We've taken her to birthdays. We took her to a demonstration with 90 Girl Scouts. So,
Okay.
broke some fears that day, and probably created a few other ones.
So we don't even know how old this one is because it was a rescue.
Not at all.
Is there a way you could probably guess like how old a snake is by just looking at it?
I look at proper growth ratio that I've experienced over the years. I had her at about 2 to 3 years old when she came to us.
Okay.
She did have a lot of dirt in her pits and in her scales. We soaked her repeatedly to help her get that out. She had a slight RI. We treated it. And then we just, you know, take her almost anywhere and everywhere we can teach people about big snakes.
Yeah, I think it's important for anybody to know what they're getting into when they get a new snake.
100%. And there's certain species, like this species in general, that we make sure that the customer knows exactly what they're getting into. Because as a baby, it's cute, it's pretty. And 2 years, 3 years, 4 years,
It's a monster.
it's a snake. So we don't just sell retic sperms and other species like that to just anybody. We vet our customers, and if we need to educate them, we do that to the fullest. But they're an awesome species. Me personally, I'm a little guy, so I like to work with my boa constrictors that I can handle on my own and be in control.
All right, so now we're about to check out some monitors. What we got over here?
We got a peach throat monitor who's a little feisty. We're working on taming that one down. It's been taking a little bit. We have a 100% Het Black Dragon. This one is actually a very docile animal. We've worked with him. We've taken it to those demonstrations I spoke about earlier. You can see him right there in his little hide. He's see if I can coax him out. Got a full belly, so he's sitting underneath that heat, just, you know, digesting his food.
Come
So
on.
you can go ahead and creep on in there though. Let's see.
So this is a black dragon.
Het Black Dragon.
Het Black Dragon.
Yep.
Oh. There we go. So now he's all chilled out.
Yep, he just had to come out. And he's young. Yeah,
Whoa.
there's a little bit of reptile fun.
This is the real, raw, uncut, what it's like.
Oh, we're gonna let him go back in, but because he's pooping everywhere.
He's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit bigger than I thought he was, though.
Yeah, now we got that as a hatchling, so we've been raising that up. And even as a hatchling, we've been bringing that animal to demonstrations. You see I go right back in. He's a little shy, but we'll get there. You know, me being able to do that shows a lot of progress. So, a little bit of upset and peed on everything, but
This isn't the best starter monitor.
no, this takes a lot of experience, and these animals get very large, require a big setup. They require a lot of aquatics. You don't just get one of these lizards. It takes a lot of education and prep. Otherwise, the animal's not going to live a good life. We have a Reticulated Island monitor up here, which is similar to the mangrove monitor. It's a little bit more rare. He is very flighty, so if I open that cage, he's going to try to come out. He's not aggressive, but he runs.
Okay.
So I'm not really going to mess with him. That's something you guys come in the shop, check us out. We can pop that out. What I got down here is our breeder male purple albino Tegu, and his name is Ghost.
Oh, there he goes.
Ghost is a puppy.
Oh man, that's crazy. Albino, Tegu.
Purple albino Tegu.
Purple
And up front
albino
we
Tegu?
have Diamond, and Diamond is a dark phased amethyst Tegu. So this year they will both go into brumation together, and then we'll bring them out and hope that we can get some eggs on the ground. But we also we took him to an art camp a couple months ago, real one-on-one. We had about 5 people that were in the group, so everybody got to really interact with the animals. And this one right here is just,
You know how old that one is?
I'm saying around 4, but he
Okay.
could be closer to 5. He's a big animal.
I've heard a lot about Tegus. I've heard that they're real intelligent.
They
Would
are.
you compare like their intelligence to like a water monitor?
No,
No, not that smart.
not in my personal opinion. Tegus are efficient hunters and efficient eaters, but they are not, in my opinion, spinning like a water monitor. When we get over to this black dragon, and even with this guy right here, watching their wheels turn, just observing the animal, you see a lot more ticking. Where with these Tegus, they eat, they lounge, they eat, they lounge. But when it comes to eating, they are resourceful and will do what it takes to get their food, even if it means cracking a code, sort of.
Don't you have to have them pretty hot, like 100+ degrees? Like, what are their...
I keep the Tegus at around 100, 105. My water monitor is closer to 110, 120. They like that high heat basking. Everything here is ran by radiant heat panels and a Herbstat 6 thermostat. So this whole wall is ran by one thermostat with 6 different zones. So we keep our animals kind of separated so that each zone can regulate the desired temperature without affecting the other animals.
Okay.
But yes, they do require a higher temp setup, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of prep goes into getting these animals together. There's a lot of requirements that need to be met.
What's up with this peach throat monitor right here?
So this peach throat was brought to us. It's a work in progress. If you give him the opportunity, he will bite you.
He looks like he's not even feeling it.
No, he ain't with it. So we're working on it, but this is pretty much what the work entails. It's us sitting here like this and building trust. We don't approach the animal unless we're cleaning or transporting, because this is his home. We let him dictate the terms. The more that he feels in control, the more that we don't seem like a threat, the more of a response we'll get from him. You notice how I dropped down before I messed with him?
Yeah.
He's higher than me.
So it shows that you're not gonna like eat him or whatever?
Things from above are usually threats. So
he might come over there. There he goes.
Now I keep my fingers tucked. Because I don't have that trust in him, just like he don't have that trust in me. So there's a respect.
Do you think it takes longer to tame down a monitor than a snake?
1000%. You're not taming a snake.
Okay.
You're making a snake tolerable.
Okay.
A snake is an opportunistic predator. Snake's not going to greet you. Snake does not operate like this. These animals hear sound. They react differently than a snake does. That's why they became my favorite species, and my black dragon is so rewarding, because I had to methodically break her down before I could even pick her up. I can go in a snake's cage and grab it. It may run, it may get a little aggressive, it may strike, but I can go pick it up. You're not going to pick up a monitor if it doesn't want to be picked up, and if you do, you're risking bites, scratches. It's their terms. The respect gets you so much further than just forcing the relationship upon them.
So you're saying monitors are more personable than a snake? And I know there's different size monitors. I know you got an Ackie over there. Can we check him out?
Sure. Ackies are great because of their size. So I'm gonna rummage through here and I'm gonna find him real quick. But Ackies stay relatively small, and they are primarily a social species.
Yeah, the Ackies, man. I really was trying to get an Ackie at the expo. Oh look at him. It's crazy.
This is a nice little juvenile red Ackie. And I said juvenile, and yes, it is this small. As babies, they're a lot smaller. So this is an established started Ackie. You're looking at about 18+ inches.
Do you know his sex yet?
I do not, but it's very simple to candlelight, and just haven't gotten around to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've never personally worked with an Ackie before this one, but I have people that have, so I've been taking tips and hints from them. But definitely a cool species that I would like to work with further, because at the end of the day, they don't require a big setup. And you can set up a nice 1.2 trio.
So I read, is this true? Like Ackies can start to breed as early as like 6 to 8 months?
Very young species from what I've heard.
Okay. Look at this. And you know, it is a monitor lizard, so it has sort of that same kind of mind as a water monitor, but it's not as, I guess, intelligent.
I haven't worked with them enough to make that comparison, but I would say probably not. I have a green tree monitor, and I've seen the videos of those guys working and operating, and there are people that put that enrichment skills. They make them work for their food, and you can see the wheels ticking as they work and use their hands and the utensils given to them to eat. That's what makes it so enjoyable, is you can challenge these lizards. You can build a relationship in doing so.
Okay, let's check out this black dragon.
Let's go, man. She's right back here. This is we got her when we opened, and which was May, and then around her cage has been thrashed.
There we go.
Oh, big
She's
girl.
a big girl.
She got a full belly on her right now. We just had a game of catch the rodent. So nothing goes as planned when you're dealing with a monitor.
So you can see how big this whole thing is.
So as you can see, she's completely just mounted me.
This is the reality of having reptiles. Can't control them.
Like I said, it's on their terms, man. So we haven't traveled with her yet because she still gets flighty and a little skittish in a tub. No. That belly started gurgling. She has been known to poop on me and me have to go home and take a shower. So I'm hoping that don't happen right now. But this is by far the most rewarding animal I've ever worked. There's a level of respect.
That's a big animal too, just to have on you. So you gotta like be on the same page, because if he freaks out, it could be bad.
Yep. When we play this game where she tries to climb down and I flip her back up to my shoulder and she does it over and over and over again. She's getting bigger to where we're gonna let her roam a little more.
It's crazy. And then how long did it take for you to build a relationship to be able to handle this animal like that?
8 months before I could even start it.
8 months?
So like for 8 months, if I held her, she would regurgitate, which is a defense mechanism. She would tail whip me, she would run. I would force hold, try to, and on days that I didn't feed. And then finally I decided I'm gonna leave her alone for about 3+ months. Finally, I sat down on this exact chair and I stuck my hand in the enclosure and she let me chin scratch her. Every day for at least an hour for the next 90 days. And we finally got to a point where I could get her out of the enclosure. Then it was when she hit the ground, not wanting to run. So she's very curious. And whereas Nubs over there will come out, explore for a little while, Nubs will lay down, relax. She wants to go everywhere. She wants to run and investigate and find anything and everything she can. Her favorite food is super worms, believe it or not. Okay. This girl can eat 100 in one setting. She just loves them.
Do you think she knows you or different people?
She is very familiar with me. You ask my employees and they'll tell you that her response to me is 100 times different than the response that they get. They still get a good response, but me and her built the bond.
Okay, so they even recognize their owners, differentiate between people.
Tone in my voice.
How are they with like loud music?
Believe it or not, we actually have a church over here that gets it going every Sunday. At first, it kind of made her skittish. Then she kind of associated it with her natural setting and didn't really get bothered by it. At first, it was a disturbance and she wasn't a big fan.
I always wonder with reptiles and music.
The vibrations are huge, man. So if you got some bass knocking, you're probably disturbing your animal.
Crazy.
And she is gonna keep going in my head and try to put my eye out right now. So
We can put her up.
this is Freya, you know, this is the girl. So once we get her a little better with traveling, she's gonna go with us to demonstrations and the shows, because the thing about a show is a lot of kids come. It's their first time, they ain't even into reptiles, they're just there. That's something that people can interact with and they can truly see what we see. Not many people get to deal with something of that size. So when she's full grown, we're taking her on the road.
And I think
It's gonna
that's
be amazing.
what is that? The second largest lizard after
Yeah.
the Komodo dragon.
Yes, the croc is the next. Croc monitor.
Okay. So let's see. We just saw some monitors. Let's check out some. Oh, we got some. We got.
So, telling Supreme about these little knobtail geckos right here. And these guys are some of the coolest species. We just started working with them, so I'm not too familiar.
Zoom in. Oh, look at this guy.
Little angry face, man.
Look at this guy. That's crazy.
And they only grow to be about 4.5 inches long. So we're gonna raise them up a little bit, see what we got sex-wise. And,
Get him. He's moving around. Focus. He's so small.
Right.
Oh, there he goes.
Now these are a rarer gecko species. You don't see them very often.
So he's called a knobtail.
Yep.
Because of that.
That little tail the little knob right at the end of the tail.
Oh, there we go. I can see it. That's crazy.
Yes, super. Normally a little skittish, and they can kind of threat posture you, which is actually really cute. Because they'll put their chest out and whatnot. But from there,
You think that's cooler than a leopard gecko?
yeah, personally I do, but I would not recommend them for like beginner pets. You know, we have our leopard geckos, and we recommend these to kids. I mean, when we ask what the kids' responsibility level is and whatnot, a lot of people come in for beardies, and this is the better option for their lifestyle.
All white one?
Yeah, with a little bit of yellow in there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I love the variations that the leopard geckos come in, and I love getting these set up with kids. You set these up with kids, man, it's a great starter. They only feed them a couple times a week. You set a nice under tank heater up, and you're good to go. So this is where we send a lot of our beginners. And
cystic?
no, this is, if I'm not mistaken, a Murphy's patternless.
Okay.
But we do, the thing about leopard gecko morphs is they're so widely distributed that unless you're getting from somebody that's pure breeding for themselves and line breeding and know what they're doing, it's very hard to decipher exactly what you have.
So it's really just about enjoying it more with the geckos. Not really
Now,
like
there are people that have the genetics down to a science and have been line breeding for years and have some of the coolest leopard geckos. There were some at that show, the Reptilian Nation show. For me, I don't try to get into that because we want to provide a first-time pet and a pet that is not going to break the bank. You know what I mean? So we try to find what our budget is for our first-time pet owners that come into the store, and we try to stock those kind of leopard geckos. I think the $400, $500, $1,000 leopard geckos are beautiful. That doesn't mean that it's something that we would work with here.
I feel like that about ball pythons a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think balls are great. Ball pythons are great for the industry. We have a banana Inchi Mojave right here. These are also great for beginners, people that want to go to snakes. Depending on what their comfortability level is, you know, are they skittish with the movement of a snake? So we have colubrids and boa constrictors that we can also recommend as first-time snakes for snake owners. But if they're a little more timid with moving and whatnot, the ball python is the way to go. As you can see what it's doing in my hand right now. Now eventually it'll get comfortable and start moving around.
There he goes.
But it's not a boa constrictor.
And they get, 5 feet maybe?
Yeah.
This guy.
And your BCI boa constrictors don't get much bigger than that. So we like that. And then there's this kind of stuff here. You know, we got the colubrids, Cali Kings. This is a high white that we produced. Now, depending on that comfortability level we were talking about, these move a little bit more, but they make great beginner pets. They don't get big. They eat once a week.
See, you said this is a colubrid?
Yep, California king snake.
I always think the colubrids always look a little bit more derpy.
Yep, they do.
It looks pretty cool though.
The high whites that we produce were really awesome. And then we have, you know, the variety of colubrids that you can have. We got a nice Pueblan milk snake right here. And he's a little bit more moving, but that's what I said about comfortability. If someone's comfortable with them moving, this is still a great snake, but you see how much more movement we have versus that ball python.
Can't be afraid when you start doing that.
You just gotta work with him. And I apply a little pressure with my fingers, very little, just so that he struggles a little more as he pushes through. So the beginner pets, there's a long list. This is a adult milk snake. This one's in the shed, so I'll grab this one. And this shows you the manageable size. This is a Sinaloan milk snake.
That red is crazy though.
Isn't it?
Good. It looks good, really good.
So I mean, manageable. These are great for kids.
It's an adult.
Yep. And in the variety, we have Albino Nelson milk snakes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
these are holdbacks. We will be breeding these in the spring.
That red is crazy with the white.
Right?
That is crazy. You see this guy? He's got the beady red eyes.
Yep. And we have a pretty cool group of these. You can see the variation. Completely different. This is one of my girls. Getting some size on her. And she's going in the shed too, but here's another one of my girls. Some good size on her.
Nice.
So these are manageable, man. And they're great for kids, they're great for starters.
See how you were able to easily just pick them up?
Pick them up. Now you gotta deal with them musking and whatnot, but I mean, here's an adult Cali King. This is the father of the one that I pulled out earlier. So these are great options, man. I mean, they're affordable. They don't go up into the price range of your ball pythons or some of your boa constrictor morphs. They're not gonna break the bank.
Yeah, I know with ball pythons right now, it's like everybody's trying to put a bunch of genes into it, and
You always have gene crunching, and I do it with boas to a certain extent. You always want to see what the next thing you can do and maximize your potential with your projects. That doesn't say that it works every time like you think it will.
okay, let's check out some. I know you showed me some beginner snakes. You showed me some big snakes. You got some rare, exotic stuff up in here.
So we got this Mandarin Rat Snake that we've been raising up. They're common, but not so common, and they're very, very, very beautiful to look at.
Oh, yeah.
This is called a red phase Mandarin. If Supreme zooming in here, you can see the red on the scales.
You can see that.
Yep.
You can see what
These stay pretty much at room temperature, man. They like it moist, damp, and around 75 degrees, 76.
I like that pattern, that yellow.
Right? It
Those
just pops.
those dark, like outlining on those
Yep.
around the yellow is crazy.
We love it.
You see those red. You said, where is this one from again?
Mandarin.
Mandarin?
This one's overseas.
Oh,
Philippines, if I'm not mistaken.
I like that one. That's something different. You don't see those every day.
No, you don't. And we just really got into the colubrids. We like the variety that's out there. This is our first hatched Chahoua, Pine Island Chahoua. Got a nice white patch right on his head.
Oh, that's crazy.
We got another couple eggs in the incubator. She's due to drop again. We specialize in the Caledonian species,
How
so
big did these get?
8-9 inches.
Okay.
Not as big as the lychee.
That's great. That's like, they jump or anything?
Yep, just like the guards and the cresteds, all same family. So all the gargoyles in shop are produced in-house. So that's a little bit more of a rare species. They're becoming more frequent into the pet trade, so the prices are coming down. You're seeing more people get into them and more people produce them. We have a pure Hog Island Boa, something you don't see much of. This was my first boa constrictor. As a kid, they were very common, and they have kind of fell off. You see a lot of hypo hogs, which are crosses. This was me and my mother's first snake, was a Hog Island.
Okay. This specific one, or
No,
just that?
just this species. You can see the orange and the dirty speckling. We're trying to get some of the stuff we got when we were younger back into the trade.
Okay.
So we have a pair of Hog Islands that we're going to try to breed this year. I'm looking for a pair of blue Costa Ricans.
That looks really good.
Yep. So a lot of the more rare stuff is going to be in my personal collection with my boa constrictors. As a pet shop, we keep things on display, but we don't try to maximize too much rare items. We try to accommodate the consumer. We do have things in here from time to time, pied retics. We have a green anaconda right now.
You got a green anaconda?
We do.
Let's check them out.
All right. Now this is for sale, and we've had a lot of interest. We're also making sure that every single person that we think about selling it to is educated on what they're getting into.
Makes sense.
They will calm down a little bit to see.
Okay, just to get them out.
We try and hold them as much as we
Respect.
can. Yeah.
There we go. Green anaconda.
This is one of those animals you don't ever think you'll see or work with, or at least I didn't. And here we are.
He's gonna be huge, right? Ooh, shit.
I told you I was gonna do big.
You good? We need to put them away?
No, got him for another second. But they are a snippy species and they're known to grow out.
That one's a female.
Got me jumping. But now it's kind of chill.
I always think they have like such a mean face.
They do. It's different.
It just looks mad.
I will say this, I took a bite at the Reptilian Nation. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to
From
be.
him?
Yeah. It was still a bite, but
That's crazy.
we'll go ahead and
Wait right here. I'll bring some more up to you.
Okay.
so that's something you don't see every day. And we like to keep some of that stuff in here.
All right, so we got some turtles, some tortoises.
These are Venezuelan redfoot tortoises. They are for sale. This one here is Bob. Bob was brought to us as a surrender. The owner was really tore up about letting her go. Bob is a girl. All our customers love Bob. People come by and give him shell scratches before they pay for their things and go. Another ambassador that we take to demonstrations and birthday parties and kind of let him just walk around and interact with the kids. Very low maintenance pets. I recommend them to anybody that doesn't have a lot of time or doesn't want something that's going to require a lot of maintenance. You feed them once a day. And
they're vegetarian, or
Yep.
okay, mostly vegetarian.
Yep. So right now we got some mustard greens, some bell peppers, some cucumbers, some squash, a little bit of parsley and a little bit of cilantro in there. So they like to eat that all up. Oh, no, they like to put strawberries in there.
Yeah.
Look at that. Moving pretty fast.
On the go, don't step right through the water. Go and harass the other one. And they like to live in groups.
How many can you keep together? Like
Not
6?
100%, but something like that. They call them pods.
Okay. Looks like they're communicating.
She wanted to heat too. They both just gorged themselves. Now it's time to go bask and digest that meal. So over here we have our arboreal tree snakes. We had a beautiful emerald tree boa that just sold yesterday. I wish I could have got him out for you guys. But here we have a Biak green tree python who has just about finished its transformation. I'm gonna see if I can get it to turn around. He does have a nose bump, but it is a fully healed scar. These are notoriously feisty species. They're on their perch, they're enjoying doing their thing. They kind of want to be left alone. But with the proper technique, you can get them off of their perch without hurting them or really agitating them. Once again, another snake that is pretty much just tolerable if you can handle it correctly.
This is more of a display animal.
I like to think of them as such. And there are people that, like I said, will handle them. But the snake does really not want to come off of its perch. It's in its happy place right now.
Aren't their bodies a little bit more fragile too?
They are. They're very slender. It's not something you really want to jerk off the perch. Like I said, the proper technique, you can get them off, but you can hurt them too. The cool thing about the green tree python is they have tipped tails, and his is right over here in the corner. He's not gonna, he's not hungry, so he's not gonna drop it. But when they're hungry, they'll curl their body up and that tail will dangle, and it'll be a little black tip, and it looks like a worm, and he just moves it. And it's treated as a lure for prey.
Are these mostly nocturnal, or they just stay on the perch all day, no matter if it's
They're pretty much nocturnal, like most of your snake species. But the cool thing about them is you see these grooves. They collect water in those grooves, and that's how they sit there and drink during the day. So they're fine stationary. And they also are ambush predators that have a long reach and long teeth to pretty much grab things out of the air or hold on to whatever prey they do get a hold of.
Okay.
They're designed for that kind of lifestyle. Down here I have another arboreal snake, which is a Amazon tree boa, and if I'm swift, I could not get bit.
There we go. Amazon tree boa.
Bred phase, yep, and it's going into shed. These guys are natural, feisty, normally are bitey.
Yeah.
But this color is amazing, and I wish it wasn't in shed so y'all could see it, but,
I don't think I've ever seen a tame Amazon tree boa or somebody like...
I've seen tolerable Amazon tree boas.
Tolerable. Like you said, snakes are tolerable. That's a good way to put it.
And it's all about what you're putting into it, man. I mean, someone that works with their Amazon tree boa every single day is obviously going to have one that's a little bit more tolerable of their movements and their behaviors than somebody that doesn't. But this is a species that is known, and you pretty much are just, what you're getting into.
Okay.
But I love the arboreal snakes. I think they're great showpiece animals. Love it.
So this is a Centralian carpet python.
Yep. And we've had this one for a little bit over a month. These guys are really cool. Something I've noticed about this species is the more UVB they're under, the brighter reds they are. It brings out more color, let's put it that way. This one has a pretty cool little paradox spot right there. It's a little different.
You think he's probably like, what, 3 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carpets start off so tiny, man. To get to this size right here, it take a while.
They usually have that little tiny head.
Yep. So, carpets are amazing, man. They're amazing species. This guy right here, docile, good pet. He's gonna make someone a happy person when he finds his right home.
To me, this is the most underrated. Well, one of the most underrated
think carpets in general are underrated, but I also think it's the 50% that you get. You don't know, they can be a snippy, feisty species. So, I think people are turned off, and I also get 7-8 feet in size.
Yeah.
So that's a turn off for a lot of people.
You know which you gotta pick your snake yet?
That's why it's important to tame them down.
Yep.
So to get them tolerable.
Also, you gotta find one thing I tell people all the time, man, in this reptile stuff, you gotta find your lane and stay in it. Just because there's a bunch of species doesn't mean I'm meant to keep every single one. My level of experience or my level of availability that I can dedicate to that animal, I have to be realistic and know where my lane is and what I can successfully do and give these animals the best life. And I try to preach that to everybody that comes in here, because I don't want you to buy an animal and bring it back to me in 6 months or a year. This is more than you thought it was. We don't like that. The animal doesn't like that. So, education is key. But finding a lane that fits you and your lifestyle and your ability is key, because you can get in over your head pretty quickly.
All right, it's safe to say today was a good ass day, man. I really appreciate you for letting us come visit, man.
Supreme, thank you for coming through and checking everything out. Hope you guys enjoy what you got to see today. Come check us out in person for any of your reptile needs, feeders, frozen and live, all the insects, caging, dry goods, water bowls, all that.
Let them know real quick where they can check you out at.
Exotic Pet and Supply by Endless Scales on Facebook, and Pet and Supply by Endless Scales on Instagram. Morph Market account attached to both of those accounts, so you can check out our inventory. You can see a little bit more of our boa morphs and what we do on the off-site facility. Tap in with us, come check us out.
There it is. We out.